showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Ryan Little.
All right. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Come on, let's pile into this. Let's turn up that radio. Let's adjust all our sets. We are about to listen to GCOM Radio. Yes, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm here again. Another week. We right on time, actually. Right on time. Yeah, my week was all right. You know what's funny? I didn't get a chance to really. I did a 23andMe. I didn't have a chance to really get into it. I kind of tweeted that out a little bit ago, and I wanted to get into, just peel back the layers on, what I was thinking. And, I was giving it some thought by seeing the numbers there. And, what does that mean for me as a black man? What does that mean for my family and the people around me? And of course, for the islands where I'm rooted back to, and and what's that mean for African Americans? I think it would be dope to really go over some topics, some things that have been crossing my mind since seeing my numbers there for 23andMe. I encourage everyone to take that. I mean, you're all gonna probably be like, all right, I've seen a lot of 23andMe African ancestry on YouTube, and I've seen people's reactions from a variety of different folk, and you'll be surprised where your lineage goes to, and you can't believe this, and you see a variety of videos of all these surprised faces, and oh my God, and them talking to their parents. But you'll probably say, yeah, well, most of the African folks, they come from the West Coast. And what are they going to tell me that I don't already know? For me personally, I knew that, but to actually see it on paper and seeing those numbers split up from the specific regions of where my folks came from before the transatlantic slave trade, it hits different, man. It's one thing to, because there's, understanding what happened in the last 400 or 500 years, but to actually see those numbers, the way they break it down on a genetic level. Yeah, man, I'll go over that. I totally missed that opportunity. I'll definitely talk about that next week. But yeah, man, thanks for tuning in, as I said before, and let's get into it. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know, I always say 30 minutes, and this thing turns out to be 45 minutes, so it's going to be under an hour. Believe me, it's going to be under the hour, but let's get to it. A couple things that I got on my mind. Yes, you are listening to GCOM Radio, hosted by me, Nova Phoenix, on iHeartRadio. I kind of messed it up, but who cares? On GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio. You know who you're talking to. Yeah, so let's go through the first thing. I was kind of looking online. Japan, man. Japan just had their only robotic exhibition. Sorry, I was going to say expedition. Exhibition, the IREX, the International Robot Expo. Japan is actually the #1 industrial robot manufacturer that supplies 45% of all robots around the world. I did not know that. That's wild. I saw this video. It's online. You can YouTube it and IREX, IREX, and it'll definitely come up. And to see some of the robots that they put on display just to show people what they're working on, it's amazing, man. It is such a hot industry in Japan now. They're saying Japanese companies have increased by 78% in 2020 because it's such a hot industry in Japan. I'm like, yo, where is United States at? Where's the United States? I'm like, man, no wonder I'm thinking in terms of car, where everybody loves Toyota and all the other foreign cars, man. And not to say America doesn't make great cars, but it kind of like, I don't know. Sometimes the product, to me, from my position, foreign cars are just way, they just built better. in comparison to American cars like Ford is like Cadillac. I mean, the upside is you can always get cheap parts as opposed to say I think Beamer. I think it's like one guy was trying to sell me his 8 series, his Beamer, right? And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And it was nice. The joint was a spaceship. It was huge. But I was like, yeah, so how much was the change of brakes? My man was like, it was over $1,000. I was like, God damn, nah, I'll pass. I'm not spending a G on hell no on brakes. I'm not doing it. And no, I'm not doing that. Germans can keep that. I'm not doing it. But yeah, man. But Japan is really coming off, and I saw a lot of robots, but kind of 3 just like stood out for me. It was a Kawasaki robot. They call it a Capricorn robot because it looks like the animal that's a Capricorn, the zodiac. It's called the Bex. It looks like a deer. They say it walks and it rides on wheels. It's built into the knees. It carries up to 100 kilos, and people can ride them. So they want to like transport, goods and material to go from one place to the other. It can actually traverse grounds that kind of like the robot made by Boston Dynamics, but it has wheels. So I mean, that was pretty cool. I thought that was nice. You could check it out. There was another one by Kawasaki robot. It's kind of like a human-like robot called the Kaleido, I think it was called. They built it and designed it to help the elderly to be at the scene of an accident. They're saying it's actually the strongest and most agile out of all of the robots that they built. It's human size and it imitates body movement very well. It lifts up to 60 kilograms. It's like 130 pounds by American measurements. And it was cool. Not as good as the Asimov. Everybody knows the Asimov. I think it's Asimo. I think it's that. Let me check right quick. I think it's the Asimov. And Asimov, it was really like a groundbreaking robot. Asimov robot. It could be Asimo, I think it is. Asimo. Let me see here. By Honda. Yeah, Asimo. So Honda built it, and it was really a groundbreaking machine of its time when they introduced Asimo, because it could run, skip, dance, do all these crazy things, and it was cute. Of course, nobody cost probably like the amount of a car, but it was pretty nice. And then, with this robot called the Kaleido, it's not as it doesn't look as well designed as a Asimo, but all I think of where we are today when it comes to human-like robots, and I think of where we're going to take it in the next 20-25 years. Yeah, it's all fun and games, and it's cute, and they can kick soccer balls like a Asimo, and they can like show you lifting things, and oh my god, it's great. Now you have to think, if we have created robots today that looks like what they do look like with Asimo and Kaleido, imagine where we're going to take it. And then at the same time, you have artificial intelligence. They're trying to crack the code with that. And according to what Elon Musk is saying, that we're not too far from actually figuring out artificial intelligence. So if you couple that with what robots are going to be doing, yeah, it's going to be kind of like iRobot with Will Smith. And I don't know as far as crazy as far as, robots kind of kill Will Smith or trying to take over. But I think robots, the robotic industry is going to play a huge role in replacing humans, man, and doing jobs that humans feel that are repetitive and monotonous. And they're going to take over, and they're going to be doing all those things as far as emergency use, getting people out of burning buildings and such like that. That's going to be amazing. Now, of course, you can program into these robots not to hurt human beings, but who knows what can happen, And as far as the artificial intelligence, will humans actually create life? Will humans actually create life and build a sentient being through robots? So it's going to be really a Frankenstein situation. Will it be just like the book? I don't know. It will be a scary moment when a robot actually does achieve sentient, state of mind. That's going to be wild. Will it happen in my lifetime? Who knows? And one more robot I think is called a Medicoroid. It's called a Hinotori. It's Japan's first robotical surgical system. Of course, it has like large arms, like typically what you would see on a production line. But at the end of those arms, there are rods and with little claws that grasp. And of course, you've probably seen it. People that are really into tech, they've probably seen this kind of the similar technology where they're actually suturing a grape. That's how dexterous and skilled, or I want to probably say skilled, but how advanced that robotics has come when we can actually do remote control. And this guy, well, you see it online, he's actually from England, I think, remote controlling this robot that was suturing a grape, stitching it back together. I think it was the United States. So that's amazing. And Japan had their first surgical robot called Hinotori. So, yeah, man, that's amazing, man. You can look it up. Like I said, IREX, go and check out what Japan is doing. I don't know if I'm sure they have a robotic conference in the United States. I forget if I did see it. I'll see if I could check up on that and see what we're doing. Because, the human ingenuity, man, innovativeness is crazy. The next thing I was watching, I actually saw an article with Lolo Jones, man. Lolo Jones, madness. Now, so Lolo, a long time ago, I talked about it on. I forgot how long ago I talked about it. Lolo Jones, she's a runner. She probably in the last 2 years, a couple of years, she got into bobsledding. But she was getting a lot of attention. She never was like number one. I don't even know why Lolo Jones was getting all of attention if she's really not coming in at number one. She was running for a long time, and I don't know. I mean, she's a pretty woman and all that, and it's probably just what it is because, she's a pretty woman and she's running. So they probably, they were trying to big her up as this next sensation. But yeah, she really, no disrespect to her, but she never won anything. I'm like, I don't know why they're giving her all this attention, but it is what it is. But Lolo Jones, some time ago, and she actually was on her social media talking about, she's saving herself and, she hasn't really gotten to premarital sex, and she's looking for the right guy. She's having problems finding the right guy. Either they're overbearing or they're just too nice, whatever, something like that. So I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. That's, I thought that's a little overboard, but everybody makes decisions, and of course she's a religious person. That's where it comes from. She's Christian, and she was raised where she saves herself for marriage, and I think that's a little old school. That's kind of like, Little House on the Prairie, if people know what that is. But that, that's your personal choice, and you could do it. But now she ended up back in the news again. I think it was on Essence, and Essence covered it, and they were saying that she broke up, because of course, I'm not thinking about Lolo Jones, but she broke up with a guy that she was seeing for 8 months. And why am I bringing it up? Why am I bringing this up? Because it brings up the question. She's 39 now. She's still a virgin. That's madness. And she says, it just wasn't working out. She says the guy was like all seriousness and wanted kids. And next thing you know, he was like, not giving her any attention. Who knows, right? She was dating this guy, and, her gut feeling was saying that, this ain't going to work out. But, it brings up the question. How long is it too long to be a virgin? That's my question. I mean, do you consider it blind faith for her to be following her religion where it's actually keeping her from living her life? I mean, look, I'm not here judging her, but sometimes as a person, I used to be Christian. I used to follow that. I don't do that a long time ago. I haven't really, that's not my thing, actually, especially honestly from the perspective of a black man, understanding a person of African descent, how religion was introduced, Christianity to the African mind and body. After learning that, I just, that was a long time ago, me making a decision where I wouldn't follow it anymore. But if you want to follow it, that's your business. That's your business. But I sometimes I think, I wonder how long is too long to be a virgin. See, I personally, I find it crazy if I ever met someone, if I was single or whatever like that, and I meet someone that's 35, 40, and they telling me they're single, a virgin. I'm like, huh? No, I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to compute that. Honestly, I don't even know how to compute that, because it's like, How do you deal with that? Because, you know, you're dealing with someone that's inexperienced. So you're going to have to coach them along because you've been, you know, doing a thing for quite a bit. So if you meet someone, you know, that's attractive like Lolo Jones, and she says, well, you know, I haven't really done it, I'm waiting. I mean, how do guys kind of deal with that? That's interesting. One part of the beauty of life to me is the interaction with people. I'm not talking about as far as relationships is concerned, you know, marriage or being involved with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever the case may be. But one of the beautiful things is interaction between people. When you first meet them, you get to know them, you get to, you know, you feel them out, you know, when it's casual, you kind of find out about yourself when you take that journey down that road. You understand what I'm saying? And folks, keep in mind, just let me just back it on up. I'm being very, very G-rated right now because I have ears in my, you know what I mean, with it, and sometimes they do listen, so I can't get too over the top, so excuse me if I can't get extra raw right now. So yeah, anyway, so I mean, you know, I get it, you know, but do you keep yourself from actually living your life when you're in your adult years? You know, you're 30, you're 32, 25, you're an adult, you know, you're 20, 28. I mean, you know, I mean, it's all good. I understand. Like I said, you want to save yourself. I think, I forgot her name. Oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting. And it was just on the tip. Okay, so when it comes to Ciara, right? Ciara, I can understand. Ciara and Russell Wilson, you know, Ciara's, you know, R&B, everybody knows, of course, people listen. Yeah. Ciara, she was doing her thing. She made some mistakes. She had a kid with Future. Didn't turn out. I understand. I don't see how her red flags wasn't going up with Future. No disrespect to Future, but I'm just saying. I mean, at a certain age when she met Future, come on, you should understand. You should be, you know, you should be skilled in how you pick out dirtbags. But anyway, I'm not saying you're a dirtbag. I'm just saying in general, you know what it is. You know, it didn't work out between her and Future. It is what it is. People make decisions, right? So, you know, I can understand that. You know, it came out with Ciara. She was like, she's wishing for, you know, the right guy because she didn't want to put herself out like that, bomb. And, you know, the universe actually responded and, you know, conspired to help Ciara, and she found Russell Wilson, a nice guy, football player, and then they have kids together. And then I'm glad she found what she wanted. But, you know, Ciara is cool because she's been down that road before, so she understands. You know what I mean? She's experiencing that. She just didn't want to keep doing it, and her relationships keep falling apart. So I respect that. But as far as Lolo Jones is concerned, when is it just too much? When does it become blind faith, and all of a sudden now, you know, people, you just don't know because you never done. I'm sure she's done some things along. She's an adult, right? But she hasn't gone full all the way. And a part of being in relationships is trying to figure out, okay, do I like this person in that way? And in that way, you know what I mean? And if it don't work, you know, something that you don't want to do. So is she actually just, you know, not being missing out on the experience of life as an adult because she's making this decision? What do y'all think? I think it's just, you know, I think, like I said, it's like a Little House on the Prairie back in the day, old school, kind of like, you know, the Amish, you know, wearing the long dresses and the hair bonnets. It just, that's what I see. That's what I feel. I mean, you know, but Lolo Jones is making her decision, and man, that's real to be in her late 30s, 39, and still like, man, you know, she don't know what's good and what's not good, but I guess that's all a part of the journey, I guess. But you know, it is what it is. Yeah, man. So next thing, Walmart. Yeah, this is kind of like information. Walmart decided to put out products with the Juneteenth marketing. And the Juneteenth, all is just out there. And they want to sell the handballs and the toothbrushes and, you know, the cleaning agents and then the speakers, and all of it has Juneteenth. Come celebrate Juneteenth. Look, just the same way how black folk did not ask for Juneteenth to be federalized, because Juneteenth has been celebrated for many a decades. They didn't need any president to come and try to co-sign. It's just the same way where we feel about Walmart, because I'm telling y'all that we knew that was coming. We knew. Once they federalize something and make it a holiday, and all of a sudden, you know, I listen to Dr. Carr, like the social structure. Listen to Dr. Carr's social structure, or the Greatest Society. Once they try to say, yeah, let's do this, you know, it's coming right behind. Now, sometimes I figure, like, how can you be that tone deaf? Because that doesn't happen with the Jewish community. They're not going to try to commercialize what happened to 6 million Jews and that were being burned to a cinder, put on trains to go to Auschwitz. That was not happening. They didn't have Auschwitz yarmulkes. All right, they didn't have things in relation to what happened to Jewish people that's on their kippas or on their tassels or anything like that. No, that's not going to happen. But they will try that. And they tried with black people, and of course, black people was up in arms, and they had to pull that joint right off the shelves. And I'm like, how tone deaf can you be? And how much you want to bet there wasn't one single black soul in that marketing department? Not one. I mean, not nothing. They probably had Candace Owens in there saying, yeah, that's great, that's fantastic, let's do it. And they say, hey man, Candace Owens loves it, then you know black people are gonna no, I'm sorry, man, not happening. Yeah, so you know, Walmart tried to get over on that, trying to sell, you know, all types of, you know, fans or whatever, hand fans with freaking Juneteenth. Or it not gonna happen. All right, this is something that's internal within black folk, and this is what we do. I don't give a damn if the federal government wants to federalize it or not. If it's something that Juneteenth comes around and black people wants to be a part of it, that's something that we can do. If you want to do it and we take the lead on it, and the people from the social structure or from the Greatest Society or however you want to define it wants to follow in line and say, okay, out of respect for the people that this is directly linked to, you know, how would you like it? And that's a better way to do it, not for you to decide what black people should do with their time when in terms of what's going on with Juneteenth or anything that's related to black folk in this country. Yeah, you better ask first. You better ask somebody. Yeah, man, that was wild what Walmart did. I'll say, here we go. That's madness. Yo, so speaking of trying to keep things in line here, Morehouse College. Morehouse. So I just recently found out, of course, from the many people that I follow, Morehouse, and now mind you, this is something I what do you call it? Visited Morehouse with my nephew in April just to check out Morehouse because we wanted to see what HBCUs were out there. He was interested. He wanted to check it out. Let's do it. We flew down there and we saw Morehouse. Beautiful campus. Love how the tour guide was really setting things up. You know, I really appreciated what I saw. I felt it deep in my soul. I felt it deep in my soul being a part of that tour and see what it means to be a Morehouse person, a student. Man, I wish I could just reverse time and like I would say, let me go to Morehouse. I want to go. But yeah, it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful. Now, it got on the news recently that Morehouse College hired a white woman to be the chief brand officer and VP of strategic communication. Yeah, that's not a good look. That's not a good thing. And this time there were black people in the room. Unlike Walmart, where you know they ain't had no black people in the room. This time there was black people in the room, and they got this wrong. Yo, so wrong. How can you be an HBCU and everything that it means to be an HBCU, and you cater to an all-black student body, male? It's men only. Let me put it like that. Not even boys, men only. And here we go. We have the president. What is the president's name of the HBCU? Let me see. Morehouse College president. David A. Thomas decided that it was a good idea to hire a white woman to be the chief brand officer, the woman or the person that's going to put together the image, the message of Morehouse College and what it is to be a Morehouse student within Morehouse, for Morehouse, to speak to the student body that's male only, to speak to them that is male only. Can I hear that again? You hired a white woman to be the head of the message and the brand, how she is going to shape the brand for young black men in this country. That is such a bad idea. Now, I'm not saying that white people or anybody can't work for Morehouse College or work within Morehouse College, but what you definitely must do is have a black face, a black man, or a black woman be the head of communications. You cannot have someone that is going to is going to manage the brand to young black males that they're the student body, and not just young black males of the student body, but to the world, to the United States, for all 45 million plus black people in this country, that you're going to understand what it is to shape the message of what it means to be a student, what it means to be a part of an HBCU, what is the impact does it have on young black males, where it's going, the history. Yeah, you can understand the history, but you don't understand, or you cannot connect to the experience of young black males. You cannot connect with their history on a personal level and communicate the subtle nuances of the culture as being a white woman. Now, she could be totally cool. I'm not saying that she's not cool whatsoever. I don't even know her name. What is her name? Let's go to the videotape. Morehouse, because I forgot to put her name. VP of Communications. Let's see, I'm totally messing this up. Her name is Morehouse College appointed Paula Resley. So I'm sure Miss Resley is a nice person. I'm sure she is. Beautiful. Sit down, have coffee, come to the party, come to the BBQ, hanging out. No problem. I have no problems with Paula Resley. But is it important that this important position of being the VP of Strategic Communication and Chief Brand Officer of an HBCU must come from a black woman or a black man? It looks crazy. It just, now, if you want to be the VP of Strategic Communication, Chief Brand Officer for Coca-Cola, sure. Sprite, sure. For Doritos, sure. For ExxonMobil, sure. For IBM, sure. For music companies, sure. Even if it's a hip hop label, sure. I have no problems. That's fine. Okay, I get it, business. But this is not any typical role or job position to be in. The optics is crazy. So I encourage the president of Morehouse College. I'm sure he's actually said that he's not really going to change it, and he had his own 2 cents to put into it. But I've heard plenty of the student body did object to her taking that position, and someone said it was a slap in the face to all the black male students of Morehouse College. So I understand that, because recently being involved in the tour and seeing all the parts that are involved, all the buildings, I've seen, one black man was cheering on it. He just let out a yell during the tour, and I looked to my right, and it was a man with 2 young ladies sitting at the table, and I quickly darted my eyes to the left of that, the source of the yell, and it was a man coming down in his gown, in his Kappa gown with the kente cloth, not shawl, but I forgot what do you want to call that? The piece that goes around the show. I mean, and he was smiling, and that black man that was older was smiling back at him. And to understand in that moment what that meant, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm talking to every black man, black woman. I'm talking about everybody in the United States of America, around the world. If you understand the history of what black people went through in this country, understand the birth of all these HBCUs across America, the good ones and the suspect ones, what it means in that moment where an older black man was shouting out a younger black man in his cap and gown, and seeing that black man smile, what that meant. Does she understand that? Can she connect with that? That's what I'm talking about. That's what it means. And even if she does have an inkling, a small inkling what that means, if she does understand that, let's give it up to her. Paula Resley. If she does understand that, she should know that she shouldn't have never taken that position. She should have simply said, thank you for this position. I thought about it, but I think it's best if a black woman or black man plays this position. And I can be a part of it. I love to be a part of that energy in other capacities to another degree, but I cannot take this role here because I know in the bigger picture that can be problematic. But yeah, man, Morehouse, I don't know how you got that wrong. Yeah, that was crazy. Anyway, the next thing is The Boys, man. The Boys on Amazon. Oh, man, let me tell you something. I'm not going to get into detail because there's other young ears in earshot. Yeah, I'm not going to get into detail, but just know this. The Boys is sick, man. I tell you, man, on Amazon Prime, I saw that joint. It is wild. The first episode of the first scene. I'm not going to go into detail, but just know the writers had a good time thinking what was going to be the most craziest, shocking thing that of course is characteristic of The Boys that is going to get the Boys fans up in arms. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you that joint was funny as hell. I swear. And it was disgusting. Oh man, it was crazy. Oh man, I love The Boys. Oh, shout out to The Boys. I love that show. Let me tell you something. It is not what's it in the merger, HBO Max, the whole thing, the merger Discovery, whatever. Yeah, some shows got killed. One of the shows that got killed was what's that damn show that I don't like? HBO cancellations. Wolves, Raised by Wolves, that stupid ass show. I saw the first 3 episodes for whatever. I just tuned out. I didn't like it because I didn't know where they were taking Father's character. I was like, man, I see this getting crazy. But they canceled that show, thank God. But let me tell you something. The Boys, oh man, it's gonna be hard when they say it's gonna be the last season because that's showing. And it's getting close to coming to the end. You just see it. I mean, all the characters beautiful, man. Each one of them and their backgrounds. I mean, Homelander is a psycho, straight. It's funny. He's not a racist psycho. Remember his girlfriend was Stormfront, right? She was a Nazi. She came up with the Nazis, and she was a superhero. I think she's one of the first quote unquote superheroes that took the drug. I forgot the name of the drug. She was like straight up racist and everything, but Homelander got with her regardless of how she felt. But the writers kind of wrote it in to say, I'm sorry, hopefully I'm not blowing it up. If you're a fan of The Boys, and you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the seasons, I suggest you cut it off now and just it is what it is. Come back in like 10-15 minutes, fast forward. But I'll let you know this. Homelander knew that she was racist, so he found out she was racist. Whatever, that didn't really budge him much because Homelander it skirts around racism too. He kind of like the writers kind of like to make it like I don't mess with all that, but because he's more of the egotistical, maniacal, murderous superhero, yeah, no doubt, and he does has his isms, but he never, as if that's okay, like well, at least he's not a Nazi, but I can get with this racism. That's kind of like American way. It's like, oh my God, these KKK people are off the top, but forget about structural racism when the guy in the suit and tie, that's okay. Well, that's straight up, that's exactly how they position Homelander and Stormfront. But Homelander is a psycho. Stormfront, whole that situation. Deep is a sadistic weasel. Black Noir, guess what? All right, you gonna have to see the first 3 episodes that were released in Black Noir. I never really read the comic, but of course, based on the show, I kind of peeked into the comic and I read articles on the comic, and it seemed like a pretty cool series at the time. But they're definitely they're not taking it to how the comics doing for obvious reasons. A-Train is clueless. A-Train, I don't know. A-Train is a waste. A-Train is a waste. But I'm not knocking him too much. Not like Father not like Father. It's not similar to how the writers wrote Father in Raised by Wolves, but his character was like, yo, wait, dude, you're corny. And I'm like, I want to see where it's going and they have it, but I want to see how far they could go with this character. Mother's Milk, you know, man, I felt some type of way Mother's Milk, but I like his character, man. He's crazy OCD. But you know, I like it. You know, I like all the characters, man. Crazy, all the superheroes, all the boys. You know, Q Campbell being the straight man, and you know. So, but yeah, you know, Butcher is wild though. Butcher is crazy, man. I love how his character is kind of playing out. So, you know, something big. You know, something big is gonna happen because you see it. Because Homelander. I'll say this, Homelander is getting more reckless. For those that saw it, he's getting more reckless by every episode, and it's like. The reason why I like The Boys is because, you know, it's all good to see the kind of like the what do you call it, the goody two shoes, you know, Superman, what he would do, his powers, he protects the earth, you know, the Boy Scout type of feel. And you have Batman is more serious, you know, where he's kind of like, okay, everything that Superman is not, but the overarching general characteristics, how they're explained for all the superheroes in DC and Marvel is like great. But Boys is actually saying, okay, in real life situation, if someone had powers like Homelander, do you really think that he's gonna be a goody two shoes like Superman? When people get, you know, in typical fashion in the real world, when people start to gain power, it's almost like it's a story that keeps on being told the same way. People get power, they get money, they get influence, they get stupid in some way. You know, all the billionaires, they do crazy. And you think like, in a lot of ways, they're saying one of the characteristics of being a billionaire is having this sociopathic worldview where you have no feeling. I think that's the proper definition of sociopathic, where it's like, regardless of what happens to people that work under you, you have no feeling of how their lives are going to turn out, what's going on with their families. They're all looked at as numbers, and you have to have that cold, detached way of being when you're a billionaire. So what if you became a superhero by taking some sort of vial? Like, what would you eventually become? Would you be a good person? Or would you actually kind of like slowly but surely feel like you are a god to all human beings? And how does that actually play out? That's Homelander. You know, you saw, and I'm not giving anything away, Homelander was like that at the very beginning. You know, he was an asshole at the beginning, but more and more it's like, oh snap, this guy took it one step further. God damn, he took it one step further. Like, oh, this dude is a fucking sicko. Wait a second. It's wild, man. It's wild. I love The Boys, man. I love The Boys, everything that it is. The only thing that came close to that was a cartoon on Amazon. Was it Amazon Prime? Cartoon, superhero cartoon. I forgot the name of it. On Amazon Prime. Was it Amazon Prime? Invincible, right. So Invincible was kind of like the cartoon version of The Boys. Like, you know, if there was a Superman, how would he be? You know, if he wasn't goody two shoes, if he didn't do for, like, you know, the typical saying, whatever, truth, justice, and America, all that. So, you know, yeah, it's dope, man. I encourage people to see it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I don't know how many episodes. It could be 8 to 10. Who knows? We'll see how it turns out. All right, folks, let me get out of here. Thank you for listening to me. I'm checking out. I'm doing my thing, doing it as usual. Hopefully there's some things coming up. Hopefully I can share with you guys at some point. And you can check out my social media. You know where I'm at. It's Lyfeblood anyway. Just punch in Lyfeblood. Go to Twitter. Go to IG. I'm not as much as on IG because I just have a feeling like screw IG. I'm like, I just keep my page open to let people know that I'm live. I'm out there and I share, let you know that the podcasts are pumping. I really don't give the same energy to IG as much as I did before. I just don't. It's another site. I finally signed up to TikTok. My wife is on TikTok all the time. She kept on sending me links. Okay, this is funny. I'm like, I'm not really on TikTok. But then it's like, all right, let me just talking about. I don't have nothing. I follow like 2-3 people that I found it was interesting, but that's it. I'm just on TikTok just to see all those crazy, funny, quirky videos that's out there. But if you could just also on YouTube, smash that like button on. If you're listening to this on YouTube, smash it. Follow me, man. Definitely, I do appreciate everyone that tunes in for those across all these social media platforms, even for the ones that, like I said, that I don't use. But I do appreciate it nonetheless. Yeah, folks. So that's it. Thank you for listening. I'm out of here. Make sure you check out The Boys. I'll see you next week. Peace.
Check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com. For the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go-round. From right here to your town. We out.